Hello, and welcome to our program, Astronomy for Everyone. The topic for this month's show is the State Wide Astronomy Night, also known as SWAN, its acronym. With me here in the studio to talk about this exciting event is Paulette Epstein from the Michigan Science Center and Steve Morrell from Henry Ford College. Welcome to the program, both of you.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Our third guest from Michigan State University, Roxanne Troon, was unable to be with us tonight. This program is part of the annual Michigan State University Science Festival that is held from April 5th through April 20th of this year. And during the festival, Michigan stargazers will have the opportunity to look skyward on Friday, April 12th, which is the actual astronomy night. This program is one of the most popular events organized by Michigan State University's Science Festival. Now, this special evening event, again on April 12th, is made possible by a partnership of MSU, along with other planetariums, museums, and observatories across the state. This year, there will be 13 locations offering visitors the opportunity to attend free programs such as planetarium shows, tours, guest speaker talks, hands-on learning, and observing opportunities. Now, there's a wide range of venues, and they include the Abrams Planetarium, which is up at Michigan State, Kalamazoo Valley Museum, Kingman Museum, Michigan Science Center, Wayne State University, both of which are in Midtown Detroit, the Shiras Planetarium, the Hearst Planetarium, Fox Park Observatory, Henry Ford College, the MSU Observatory, Delta College at Saginaw Bay Visitor Center, and the Veen Observatory, which is located just outside Grand Rapids. Now, this was founded in 2013, and the festival is a multi-day series of events that provide a rare opportunity for people of all ages to experience science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, known as STEAM, its acronym. SWAN became part of these offerings in 2016, the special night, as part of an ambitious festival schedule of 17 days featuring 250 events across our state. Last year, more than 20,000 visitors attended the Science Festival across the state, and of those surveyed, 100% would recommend the festival to others. So this sounds like this is really a great event. So Paulette, can you fill our audience in on what's going to be happening at the Michigan Science Center?
So at the Michigan Science Center, we are going to have a wonderful night planned. We actually are going to have some telescopes that we actually got through a grant through the through CTN, so we're very, very excited about that. We'll have some telescopes outside viewing, weather permitting, of course. We'll be doing planetarium shows in the planetarium, hands-on activities where we have some kits through the National Informal Science Education Network, or NISNET. So we're really excited to deploy some of those hands-on activities that have to do with space and space-related things. We'll also have our science stage show that's going to be space and astronomy themed, a little bit of physics in there too. So we're very, very excited for all of the really cool things that are going to be going on. We're excited also that evening we're going to be open for free to the public.
So the entire museum will be available?
The entire museum will be available.
Great.
So along with all of our activities that we're going to be doing, we'll also have all of our over 250 hands-on exhibits, and we're going to have a really, really great time.
Sounds like an exciting event.
Yes, yeah, it should be a lot of fun. April 12th is also Yuri's Day and Yuri's Night. It's the anniversary of Yuri Gagarin's first spaceflight. So we're participating in this and probably even video conferencing into some other Yuri Night parties across the world. So it's going to be a huge celebration about space.
That sounds great. If we're going to do the teleconference type thing, will that happen down in the 4D theater?
It'll probably be just sort of on some of the monitors that we have around, potentially the 4D theater.
Okay.
But we haven't quite gotten that all ironed out yet. We're still working on our planning process. But so we're going to have our Yuri's Night party / MSU Science Festival Swan Night. It's going to be from 6 to 10, and we're going to have a great time.
Terrific. Now, can you let our visitors know where the Michigan Science Center is?
Oh, yes. The Michigan Science Center is, of course, in Midtown Detroit, and it's at the corner of John R. and Warren, right behind the Detroit Institute of Arts.
Right, and right next to the Charles Wright Museum.
Yeah, right between the two, exactly.
Terrific. Well, looking forward to that exciting event. Another exciting series of events, of course, Stephen, is happening at Henry Ford College.
Yeah, we're hosting along with the Ford Amateur Astronomy Club, a lot of guys you know, and our own student astronomy club.
Great to get them involved too.
Oh, for sure, yeah. So we're going to be doing a number of things, some lecture demonstrations. We have Sandra Masika is going to be talking about meteorites. In fact, she's talking about how to identify meteorites. So the title of her talk is called Meteorites or Meteor Wrong. So she's going to be talking about not only how to identify them and find them in the first place, but sort of where they originate from. And she'll have many, many samples, and people will be able to actually touch them and hold them in their hands. So the idea is, holding something from outer space. She's got a rather extensive collection of meteorites to show.
She does. She's been on this program and talked about meteorites and
yes,
explained a lot about that.
Yeah, and in fact, we participated in Swan Night 2 years ago. This is actually our second time. 2 years ago, she was also there with all of her meteorites, and it was quite popular. We're also going to be having John McGill demonstrate a program that can be downloaded for free off the internet. It's called NASA Eyes. It's essentially a sort of a three-dimensional simulation where you can sort of fly through the solar system. So he's going to demonstrate it where he's starting like in Earth orbit, and then going past the space station, and then out past the moon and out to Mars. So he'll kind of show people how this works, and he'll give them some more information on how they can download it themselves.
Sounds like an interesting talk.
Yeah, I think so too. And in another room, we're going to have both Liam Finn and Tim Campbell. They're going to be
both
doing
Ford Club members.
Yes, and they're going to be doing lecture demonstrations on a couple of different topics. The title of their combined talk is "Fun with Sound, Light, and Fire." So the fire portion
part sounds interesting.
Yeah, what you're looking at here is a Rubens tube. It's a way to demonstrate standing waves in tubes. It's more of an acoustic experiment. So Liam will be working with that. And then Tim will be talking about all different aspects of light, from the wave nature of light down to the particle nature of light. He'll be talking about how different colors are formed. He'll be talking about spectroscopy, how astronomers can determine what elements are present in stars, and how, in fact, we can even use spectroscopy now to determine what elements are present in some planetary atmospheres when they transit different stars. So it's an exciting technology. So he's going to really basically tell people how light works. In addition to that, we're going to have planetarium shows. And those will be on the hour, every hour beginning at 7. As a matter of fact, the way our events are set up, we're going to have, beginning at 7, going all the way to 11, so participants can go see a lecture demonstration, for example, for an hour, and then maybe go up and see the planetarium show for an hour, go see another lecture demonstration for an hour, and then we'll also be doing telescopes on the roof. But the planetarium is we're basically showing the same show that we show for the public. We have a show called Nothing Gold Can Stay, and it's about the spring sky, spring constellations with some mythology stories behind those. And then we're going to do a sort of a full dome presentation on Mars and Saturn and their moons. So it's a little bit of everything for people to see. And all while this is going on the roof, we have an observation deck where members of the Ford Astronomy Club are going to have telescopes set up. Yeah. So people will be able to go up there, look at telescopes through different things with the guidance of the Ford
And that's
Club
the new
members.
Science building on campus.
Yes. It's, in fact, when you go to our campus, we're located at 5101 Evergreen Drive. I'd recommend that people come in the southern entrance, the south entrance,
right.
and the buildings have these big letters on them, and they just have to look for a building that's got a big J on it. Go in there and follow the signs, and there'll be people greeting them and guides to help them go to the different events.
Okay, in case somebody isn't familiar with that address, it's located between Ford Road and Michigan Avenue, And you're right adjacent to U of M Dearborn.
Right next door.
The two campuses
Yes.
are right there. Well, this has been an interesting conversation for the first half of our program. We're going to take a little quick break here. If you have any questions, please send us an email. We always like taking a look at those and answering them when we can. And next, we're going to take a look at Stephen Whitty's Term of the Month. So take it away, Steve.
Thanks, Don. The term of the month is Oumuamua. In this artist's conception, this is the very first interstellar object ever detected. It was discovered by Robert Weirich using the Pan-STARRS telescope on Haleakala, Hawaii, on the 19th of October 2017. And that's why the Hawaiian word Oumuamua, which means scout, was used. It's a small object. Really, the images are just a dot. So much of what we know comes from light curves. It gets brighter, it gets dimmer. Here, the stars, all the background stars are streaks, and the dot is the object we're talking about. So what can you learn from the light curve? There's a size estimate. It's somewhere between 100 and 1,000 meters, and then it's sort of circular, maybe 35 to 167 meters, anywhere in that range, and a cylinder. It has a spin rate, and it's similar to solar system objects. They all tend to spin at about the same rate. This tumbles, that is, it has multiple spin axes. It does weird things. It's hard to describe. It is dark red, which is suggestive of outer solar system objects. All of this could mean that it is of cometary origin, or at least outer solar system origin. Its orbit was helped a lot by two Catalina Sky Survey precovery points. It has a weird thing, though. They detected a non-gravitational acceleration as it's leaving, and this is consistent with cometary outgassing, but they didn't detect any. An alien light sail was suggested as a reason why it accelerated. The estimate is that there are 10,000 such objects inside of Neptune's orbit every day, and that's Oumuamua, term of the month.
Thanks, Stephen. Welcome back to the show. With me here in the studio talking about State Wide Astronomy Night are Paulette Epstein from the Michigan Science Center and Steve Morrell from Henry Ford College. Paulette, I understand there's some other interesting activities going on at the Michigan Science Center.
There are. Along with the Statewide Astronomy Night, we're kind of deeming this as the year of space. We're really excited about the moon landing anniversary this summer, and so we'll be doing activities and space-related stuff in the Science Center all year long. We also just got a brand new exhibit called Sun, Earth, and Universe, and in that exhibit you can learn about the sun, the earth, the universe, and sort of a lot of newer information. We got that through the National Informal Science Education Network as well. So that's a brand new exhibit that actually just opened up in fall of this year. So if you haven't been to the Science Center for a while, it's a great time to go and check out that new exhibit. Smaller footprint, but it is really very interesting and has some hands-on components to it as well.
Good. That always makes for an interesting exhibit if people can become involved with it at that level.
Yes, definitely. And with Statewide Astronomy Night, it's actually sort of the kickoff of our Scopes in the City project. So what we are doing is actually taking telescopes out to libraries and coffee shops, schools, stuff like that in the city of Detroit. So we're making sure that kids that don't necessarily have access to be able to look through a telescope have access to a telescope right there in their neighborhoods.
That's great, being able to bring this to underserved communities.
Yes, yeah. That's why I love being in Detroit, is because we get to expose kids to all sorts of stuff that they never would have seen before, and it's just a fantastic opportunity for us to be able to have them look through a telescope. They might not be able to see deep sky objects, but they'll be able to see planets, which is really exciting. They love seeing that. And you'd be amazed at how many kids will look through a telescope at a light across the street and be excited because they're looking through a telescope.
Exactly.
They don't care what they're seeing as long
Exactly.
as long as they're looking through a telescope.
And let them see the craters on the moon.
Exactly.
That's, yeah.
Yep. And so we're very excited about that Scopes in the City project. So Swan is going to be our first of those, and then we're planning 3 more throughout late summer and then into the fall.
Great, great. That should be a great program, and
Yeah.
have to let us know how that all works out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, on the anniversary of the moon landing, we're going to have a huge event at the Science Center. I believe it's also one of our free days. So it's going to be a really fun time.
And busy.
And very busy, yes. We'll also be, a couple of days before that, we're going to participate in the world's largest rocket launch. So sites around the world are going to be launching rockets all at the same time on July 16th.
Okay.
So we'll all be launching our rockets at the same time, and we'll hopefully break the Guinness Book of World Records for most rockets launched at the same time.
This sounds interesting.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
I think so. So, Steve, I'm sure you've got some other interesting activities going on at Henry Ford College.
Yeah, well, we have a public outreach program, astronomy education, which we've been doing for many years now, where we offer free planetarium shows to the public every Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. And every other Saturday at 3 p.m. We have a presence on Facebook. If people want to go to the Hammond Planetarium, that's our Facebook name. We post schedules there, so that's a really good place to start. They can also email me at srmurrell, SRMURRELL, at hfcc.edu, and I can reply with a schedule attached. We also are hosting on March 23rd, in conjunction with the Ford Astronomy Club and the Henry Ford Student Astronomy Club, a swap meet. It's an all-day event on campus, and it's open to the public. It's $5 to get in, but there's going to be a bunch of astronomy-related equipment that people can look at, maybe buy or trade, things like that. And there'll also be a number of talks from people in the community talking about different subjects. So that's on, again, March 23rd, and that's an all-day event.
I've been to several of those expo and swap meets, I think as we used to call them, and it is an exciting event, and yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, we had a few hundred people show up last year, actually, for that.
Great,
So it's well attended, yeah.
Any other outreach programs or?
No, those are the biggies. Yeah.
So again, we want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to attend these events. We do have the website for the Science Festival. We can hopefully show that again during the program, during the remaining of the program. You can see the dates there for the Science Festival. It's happening not only at Michigan State University, which is up in East Lansing, here in Michigan, but at other venues across the state. Now, I do want to read a quote from Roxanne. She would have spoken to this had she been able to make it, but in her words, quote, "We invite all ages and aim for experiences that dazzle, delight, educate, inform, and spark curiosity. Looking up at the night sky inspires timeless and universal questions about our world. We want to inspire everyone to explore and ask questions and learn what scientists are doing to answer these questions." Again, this is from Roxanne Troon, the coordinator of the Michigan State University Science Festival. Also coming up this year, a little bit later in September, if I'm going to remember right, another wonderful astronomy experience is, of course, Astronomy at the Beach, which is held out at Island Lake State Recreation Area, just west of the city of Detroit. It's out I-96, the freeway, and it's actually across the freeway from Kensington Metro Park. So for those of our viewers who are familiar with Southeast Michigan, that direction should hopefully help you to find the event. It's held every year. It is a free event other than the cost to get into the park itself, and I don't know what it's going to be for 2019, but That's the charge for the car, so you can have one person in the car, you can have 10 people in the car. Still the same price for the vehicle. And other than that, the event itself is free. There will be telescopes that'll be set up on the beach, hence the name of the event. These are telescopes owned by club members that support this event, including the Ford Club, the Warren Club, and several others. You're invited to look through as many scopes as you would like to look through. Ask questions of the owners, and especially if you're thinking about buying some astronomy equipment. It's always best to talk to the owners of various types of equipment to find out both the pros and the cons of a particular piece of equipment. And of course, people will ask, well, what's the best scope to buy? The one you use the most. Now, if you're just getting into the hobby, I would strongly recommend a pair of binoculars. They're not all that expensive. You can get a fairly decent sized pair that'll show you some very interesting features, such as the 4 Jovian moons of Jupiter. You can see those with a small pair of binoculars.
So it's great that you bring that up, Don, because the Michigan Science Center will also be at Astronomy at the Beach. It's a big event that we participate in as well, so we're very excited about that too. And if anybody is interested in learning more about anything that we are doing at the Science Center, you can visit our website at mi-sci.org.
Great, great. And of course, if anyone has any questions too, what's the Henry Ford website again, Steve?
Well, like I said, there's 2 good ways to get a hold of me. Again, srmorell@hfcc.edu. That I can communicate directly.
Okay.
We also, the Facebook site actually is very popular. We get most of the people who come from the community to see our shows find it in Facebook. So that's Hammond Planetarium, Hammond, which is named after a donor a number of years ago, left some money as part of his estate when he passed away, Guy Hammond. So we did a lot of upgrades to the planetarium, so we named it after him for that.
So if you ever want to get a planetarium named after you, just write a big check.
That's right. It worked very well. Yeah, he was very generous, yeah.
Yeah, very nice.
Terrific. Well, I've been really glad to have both of you here with me in studio today, filling in our visitors on this exciting, almost month-long event, actually, in April. They'll be watching this in March, so they have the whole month. So even if they get to the end of March and they see it on the 31st, they still got almost 2 weeks before the actual astronomy night occurs. And then going to the festival website, they can see some of the other activities that are happening across our state.
Yeah, there are actually some really amazing things that aren't necessarily astronomy related, but science related in general, happening with the MSU Science Festival. For example, they do some like hands-on activities and stuff like that down on Belle Isle. So there's some really great activities that are happening there at MSU. And you're right, it's almost a month long. And there's some museums that are open for free in the evening, and it's a really, really great time, and you can check that website for more information.
Terrific. Well, I'm glad that you were all here with me today. I want to thank you both for being here. If anyone would like to check out the Ford Amateur Astronomy Club website, we've got that down there at the bottom of your screen, as always. And coming up next to close out the show, as we always do, is What's Up in the Night Sky with Stephen Whitty.
What's up in the night sky for March 2019? The spring equinox is on March 20th. The sun rises from 7:09 to 7:18 here in Michigan and sets from 6:23 p.m. to 7:57 over the course of the month. Astronomical night is about an hour and a half before and after sunset. That's, after that it's really dark, and it becomes sometime, daytime. Anyway, the moons start new moon on the 6th, first quarter on the 14th, full moon on the 20th, and third quarter on the 28th. Mercury goes from magnitude 1 to magnitude 0.2. In the weird way that magnitudes work, 1 is dimmer than 0.2, so it's getting brighter. Mercury sets at 7:50 p.m. at the beginning of the month and then rises at 6:28 a.m. That's because we have inferior conjunction March 14th. That's when Mercury passes between us and the Sun. So that happens. Mercury moves from Pisces to Aquarius over the month. Mars it goes from magnitude 1.2 to magnitude 1.4, so it's getting a little dimmer. It sets from 11:24 p.m. to 10 minutes after midnight, so it actually goes the opposite way that you'd expect, a little retrograde motion there. It goes from Aries to Taurus. Now Aries, that's where Mars belongs, right? Uranus is magnitude 5.9. You might just be able to see it from very dark skies, naked eye. Be very tough. It sets from 10:25 p.m. to 9:35 p.m. And it is in Aries where Mars should be, right? Aries. Venus is an absolutely brilliant magnitude -4. Negative numbers are brighter. It rises at 5:18 to 6:07 a.m. and goes from Capricornus to Aquarius. We'll hear about Aquarius in a bit. Saturn is magnitude 0.6. It's reasonably bright, and it rises from 4:38 a.m. to 3:48 a.m. It's in Sagittarius. It is heading toward opposition when it is brightest and biggest in July. Jupiter is magnitude -1.9, which is very bright, to -2.1, which is even a little brighter. And it hangs out in Ophiuchus, and it rises from 2:50 a.m. to 2:02 a.m., and it is heading toward opposition pretty soon, in June. Neptune is magnitude 8. It's very dim. You need binoculars for it, except that we have superior conjunction on the 6th. That's when Neptune is on the other side of the Sun from us. And in this diagram, you can see the Earth and the Sun, and you can kind of draw a line. And then you can, in the bigger diagram, you can draw a parallel line from the Sun, that's that box in the middle, out to Neptune. That's more or less a straight line. And it's all month. And that is what's up in the night sky for March 2019. Remember, we don't charge for this show, but we may tax your brain.